Our stock of the day, or in fact, we're going to take a look at a couple. It's right down Henry's alley, in fact. It is in the lithium space because both Liontown and Pilbara out with updates. Liontown has entered into an offtake agreement with Ford to supply the car maker with 150,000 dry metric tonnes of spodumene per year. Separately, Ford will also be providing Liontown with a $300 million debt facility to help partially fund development costs at its Kathleen Valley project. Its spodumene supply to Ford expected to begin in 2024. Pilbara Minerals also out with an update, reporting a 54% increase in its June quarter production, in turn boosting the health of its balance sheet. And there we can see the movement of both today at Liontown, obviously outperforming. And Henry, you take a look at the broader market, there are some big green spots right there. Amidst the carnage we're seeing more broadly in the resources sector today.
Yep. I mean, it's a bit like a red wedding, I guess, today. But bear in mind that we had risen, 190 points in a couple of sessions, Monday and Tuesday, following that big rise on Wall Street. So, we're down 90 odd points today, so we're giving back half of that rise. So it's not the end of the world, but we are seeing that increased volatility. Good to see Liontown with that Ford agreement, but more importantly, I guess, they're moving to final investment decision with Kathleen Valley, and they did give an indication of the costs. Now the costs have increased, but only around sort of 10%, and that does include increased production as well. So that is good in terms of that, because we do know that costs are rising. We saw that with Evolution this week in terms of their production, their cost, their staffing issues, etc. So it's a good result for lithium. Stocks today, generally Liontown leading the charge, and we've had a few good bits of good news in the lithium sector. The Pilbara news as well, that's a positive, probably not quite so much of a positive, but again, they're expanding production capacity, which is good, and that means they can make hay while the sun shines in terms of pricing. So it's been no secret that I have been a lithium bull. The stocks got walloped. They are coming back now in places, and some of them are doing pretty well. But I think you have to be careful that you steer towards the quality projects, the big projects, the ones that are fully funded, because undoubtedly it's going to be harder and harder for companies to raise capital if the market continues to be troubled by lack of confidence and that sentiment easing in the sector. So those that have got money and have got facilities like Liontown with this new facility from Ford, they also raised a heap of money as well to fully fund the first stage. So that to me is a tick in the box for Liontown.
Are you buying both at these levels?
I have been long and just holding. I haven't nibbled, but I have been looking at increasing my holdings in both. I have to say those are my two favoured stocks in the sector, along with I still like Vulcan, which had a big run the other day after Stenaltis put a big investment into them, but that's come off again, so that's very much a sentiment thing. And there is some news out from the EU in early July about the status of lithium in terms of whether it's a poison,
right,
a nasty metal that the Europeans are not going to sort of tolerate, which seems strange because they're going gung-ho with batteries, etc., and electric vehicles. So would be a bit of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, trying to hold back that tide.
Yeah, you can't hold it back forever.
So Andrew, acknowledge that Henry is a bull. So what are your thoughts then on that space more broadly, but I guess specifically when we take a look at Liontown and also Pilbara?
Look, it would be foolish of me to go against the lithium prognosticator. I certainly wouldn't dare have a differing view. But look, out of the two, and I certainly know there's a Marcus Today member that's done incredibly well out of Liontown, so I've been living vicariously through the updates as to how many tens of millions of dollars he was up at one stage. But look, I don't mind Liontown, and certainly that Kathleen Valley news is quite good. And no great surprise that the cost of the projects is blown out considering everything that's going on at the moment. But I've got to remember it's a 23-year life on this mine. We've already got that offtake arrangement in place with Tesla as well. Having Ford in the stable as well is promising. So, and they've got a little bit of gold and vanadium in there as well. So certainly very, very happy to be sort of adding at these levels. And noting that consensus is $2.10. So, assuming that people start liking the world again and people want to buy shares, then certainly there could be some upside in this one. So it is a buy. Equally with Pilbara, don't mind Pilbara. I probably would get exposure through ACDC, not the rock band, but my preferred battery tech ETF. That's probably how I'd get the Pilbara exposure. But if I was looking just for that pure play, lithium play, then certainly Liontown. But I have also been watching with interest Henry's other one, Vulcan, as well. But Liontown, get on it.
All right. Okay, that is the view of both Like and Liontown right there.